Okay, now that I've opened up the correct file, I'm going to open up the Open Windows list and the home page. And notice the name of this file is Chapter 4 Kristen Reyna. I should say the name of the company is Chapter 4 Kristen Reyna Interior Designs. So who is Kristen Reyna? Well, we can open up our chart of accounts, which one way to get there is right here. And if you scroll down here to the equity accounts, you see that the capital account has Kristen Reyna's name in front. So that means Kristen Reyna is the owner of Kristen Reyna Interior Designs. So our first task is to change the company name. So we want to go to Company, My Company. I'm going to click on the Edit icon. And I'm going to change the name to Chapter 4, Period in Procedures, and then my name. So what this chapter is about is making adjustments at the end of the accounting period. Now, companies can choose to do their adjusting entries once a year, at the end of the year, once a quarter, or once a month. So this company is going to choose to do it once a month. So what are some of the things we need to adjust? Well, let's look at this prepaid advertising. So notice I'm in the chart of accounts, and if I double click on prepaid advertising, it opens up the register for the prepaid advertising account. And if I right click on this bill and click on Edit Bill, we can open up the transaction. We find out that at the beginning of the month, Kristen Reyna paid Kuza and Carl Associates for 6 months of prepaid advertising. So that's obviously $100 worth per month. So on the first of the month, the value of this asset, this prepaid asset called prepaid advertising, was $600. But 1 month later, is it still worth $600? No, it's not. However, I'm going to save and close. If we look at the balance of this account, it's showing as $600. If I close this and look at the balance on the chart of accounts, it's still showing as $600. So at the end of the month, this amount is no longer accurate. So we're going to have to lower this account by 1 month's worth, which we just found out was $100 worth. And we need to change it from prepaid advertising to advertising expense. So let's look at the chart of accounts and see if we have advertising expense. I don't see advertising expense down here, which is why in the next step we need to add the account called advertising expense. So I'm going to click on Account, New, and it is an expense account. Click Continue. The account number is 6050. I'm going to tab to the account name, Advertising Expense. And also notice that the next step says to create an interest expense account. So I'm going to click Save and New. Now this is critical. Notice the type of interest expense is Other Expense. So I need to go up here and choose Other Expense, which is at the very bottom. So what is an other expense? An other expense is an expense that's considered not part of the main part of the business. So it's usually something minor, such as interest expense. So the account name or account number is 7,000 and interest expense. And so the effect of making this an other expense is later on in this case, when we create a profit and loss statement, the other expenses, in other words, any expense labeled as an other expense, will show up at the bottom of the profit and loss. So I'm going to click Save and Close. And you might be asking, well, why are we adding an interest expense? Because at the end of the month, we will also have to adjust interest expense. We will increase interest expense, and we will increase the account called interest payable, showing how much interest we now owe at the end of the month. Next step, delete the following accounts. Promotion expense, so remember expenses are at the bottom. And notice our other expense is at the very, very bottom. So we need to delete the promotion expense. So I'm going to find promotion expense, right click on it, delete account. So apparently Kristen Reyna says we're not going to be using the promotion expense. Instead, they're going to call advertising expense. And then the next one we need to get rid of is administrative expense. So I'm going to single click on administrative expense, right click on it, delete account. Are we sure we want to delete this account? Yes. And then the next thing it says to edit the following accounts. So we're going to find account 1700, which is right here. And we're going to change it from furniture and fixtures to just furniture. So I'm going to edit the right click, edit the account, double click fixtures, delete, 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 delete. Now it's just furniture, save and close. And then account 1750, which is accumulated depreciation for furniture and fixtures. I need to edit that to just be accumulated depreciation on the furniture. So I'm going to edit the account, right click on it, and then edit. Get rid of and affix. And there we go. We've updated our chart of accounts, and we have updated the company name to Chapter 4 Period End Procedures and added our name. And then next we will get into adjusting entries.